This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library.
You can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price you can get Truefire All Access for.
I think one of the key comments that I've been seeing and that folks have been saying, and I think this is a question for a lot of us, is about whether or not you can hear the difference between the older Helix and the Helix Stadium, because of course there's a large price to justify if people are going to be making that switch. So in this video, what I wanted to do, and what you heard at the start there, if you wanted to comment device A, device B, what you thought each was, you can feel free to do so. Go out on a limb, you know, take a guess. I'm going to give you the answer now because I can't be bothered with this revealy stuff, but device A, Stadium, device B, Helix. So what I'm going to do in this video is kind of show you, without, you know, trying to paint over any of this stuff with any kind of bias particularly. You know, I was sent this by Line 6, but I'm a huge fan of the old Helix as well. And so, yeah, to me, what my initial thoughts were when people were saying, all right, it's going to be like the difference between, I don't know, 4K and HD. It's kind of like, all right, we've heard this kind of talk before. So I'm going to try and stay away from that kind of thing. But what I'm particularly, I guess, interested in is that historically, I think what people have found with the Helix in the past was that, you know, maybe the high end, your fizz, this sort of stuff is what I would read about a lot of the time, and making sort of adjustments and corrections. So if we were to use, for instance, in this video, like in the intro, I was using the Deluxe Reverb Vibrato with the same settings, what is the kind of output, I guess, is what I'm kind of testing here. I also do this with a heavier amp, like later in the video, and also a Vox AC30. Now feel free to email me if you've got specific amps that you want me to check out in this way. I think a Plexi might be worth doing as well. And I think actually, instead of it being like a total like line in the sand, okay, this is a clear point where amp modeling for Line 6 changes forever, I think it's actually a bit more of an incremental story. So if you go back to 2015, for example, when the Helix launched, the Deluxe Reverb was in there, right? And I'm pretty sure that's correct anyway. And also a Vox AC30. Now, those models have not been touched for 10 years. And in those 10 years, Ben Adrian and Sam have got better and have found new ways of doing this amp modeling stuff, as well as now going more down the route of component modeling. So I think that is also part of the story here. It's not just like that the Helix Stadium came out and suddenly the amp models were better, because I think you might find, and I think I did find later on in this video, that if you compare, say, something from the 3.8 update, like the EVH 5153 and the Agoura models of that, the differences aren't necessarily as stark as like a model from 2015 and 2025. So this is an Agoura legacy model up a bit. I feel like the older model's got more gain. So those two, I think, to me, are a lot closer in terms of which would make sense, because it's like, well, these are, again, sort of amps that were made relatively close to each other. Let's paste over here. Let's try an AC30. So hopefully that helps one or two of you guys out if you had questions around this. As I say, email me if there are some more like amp comparison parts that you want me to check out. There are a bunch of amps in there that have sort of replaced the Helix Legacy amps, but I can still get to the Helix Legacy amps in here. Okay, if we look here, so it's the same settings on each. The Agoura to me is much more, you know, sort of rounded off in the top end. Let's dime them both. The Agoura maxed out. Now, a thing that I felt I was noticing with the Agoura stuff is it was responsive to pickup changes in a way. I don't know, I need to check this with a looper, but I feel like that to me sounds like there's a more pronounced difference. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that or don't. But to me it sounds like the Agoura amp is kind of responding to pickup changes a bit more. Right, let's try this. Now, this would have been one of the first amplifiers that Line 6 actually modelled back in like 2015 or prior to that, I presume. So that kind of, I guess, shows you like the full extent of how different the amp models could be. I want to try this with an AC30 as well, really. So I'll set that up and do that in a minute. But with the heavier stuff and more recent stuff, say now for instance with the AC30, if I back the volume off to like a 7. Pickup changes. Yeah, I think, for me, certainly, it feels to me it's like a little bit less of that harshness in the high end. If I take the treble down, I do think it's definitely preserving, again in that example, more of the difference between neck pickup and bridge pickup, which to me, I think shows something. I don't know, let me know your thoughts in the comments. So yeah, that's, I think, satisfied me personally about whether there is a difference between these amps or not, and hopefully that helps some of you guys too.